What up, what up? My name is Ronnie Ferreira, and I am the captain of Comment Me Bro, the first ever champions of MSS Reindeer Games. You're watching Let Freedom Ring with Dan Bollier, the #1 podcast in Southern New Hampshire. Enjoy.
His name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say, I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is so prestigious. Wave your hands from side to side and say, oh, I believe in Joe Hendry.
And welcome to episode 19 of Ringin' Free Thoughts with Dan and Scott. Scott still not here. We don't know where he is. He took off on sabbatical. Missed the last 2 episodes, but we're going to keep Ringin' Free Thoughts going. And we're going to do an all Bollier Brothers edition. I have my brother Mike Bollier filling in back in again. We have from Russell Squabble, Bobby. We haven't done that in like 2 months, so we got to get that back on track. But how the hell are you guys tonight?
I'm doing great. I got to say, I wasn't expecting the Joe Hendry thing, and I saw it last time, and I forgot about it. One more notch on his belt. His belt's falling down as he's being like, meh, and it's just hanging down. One more notch to be perfect. But I'm doing good, man. I had a great day, Bobby. How are you?
That intro is so long that my browser turned my camera off. So if we can condense that next time I'm on this, can we just
do? It's perfect.
by like 10 seconds? Like,
you can't come on to Ring Free Thoughts, which is usually Scott co-hosting.
I'm just saying.
Like that's not, we're not,
I'm sorry. I got some guy pushing reindeer games on me.
Yes, that is Ronnie in the intro, the first ever reindeer games champion. Want to get into the headlines, but first, just want to talk about this. It is episode 19 on Ring and Free Thoughts. We really like to talk about famous players that wore the jersey of the number of the episode we're doing. And 19, any players that come to mind for you guys?
I mean, for me, it's got to be Tony Gwynn, right? Tony Gwynn, maybe the best number 19 of all time.
You go, boy. What's up, Harrison? Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, so you got to go with Tony Gwynn. You have to. Johnny Unitas has to be another one that you have to go with. Great number 19. I'm trying to think. There's one.
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana with the Chiefs, maybe.
Joe Montana.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
Joe Montana. 19.
Was he 19 with the Chiefs?
He
was not 19 with.
This feels like something that definitely needs to be. Oh, maybe he did.
Fact check it. Check it.
Okay. Looks like he did. I stand corrected.
But I believe you, but it wouldn't have been with San Fran.
No, it was the Chiefs, and I was fairly young at that point. I don't know why he might have, switched that number.
Fred Lynn of the Boston Red Sox. We got to go with that.
Fred Lynn, he's 19.
He was number 19. That's a
like the only one I could think of is Tony Gwynn, and that was it.
I actually so Tony Gwynn's a big one. Joey Votto was number 19 with the Reds. Hell yeah. Number 19. I mean, that's a historic Red Sox number, right? Because you go Fred Lynn, but you also have to go Josh Beckett.
Oh, geez. Yeah, Josh Beckett.
That's a big one. That's a World Series champion. Another World Series champion who wore number 19 was Jackie Bradley Jr., one of the best defensive players of all time. I mean, I know he doesn't have the stats to back up anything all time, right? But he was a phenomenal outfielder.
He had a big home run in the ALCS.
Yeah, I mean, his playoff batting average and the hits he had, he was great. He was great, but he was also a defensive MVP. Phenomenal.
Yeah, so I mean, again, the one that sticks out, Tony Gwynn. I guess he's probably the best to ever wear 19. I mean, that guy.
Well, in American sports, right? There's got to be someone internationally that could be.
I mean, yeah, I don't follow a lot of international sports.
I'm saying, yeah, we're streaming everywhere. I just want to make sure that we aren't just.
We have had viewers from across the pond on this stream. It was pretty interesting.
But let's talk. I mean, number 19 MLB. Is there anyone better than Tony Gwynn?
No.
In Major League Baseball.
Tony Gwynn's probably the best hitter we ever, like pure hitter that we ever saw.
Yeah.
At least for our. I mean, I can't go back to Ty Cobb or anything like that, but.
Maybe that you ever saw. He was pretty old by the time I really remember.
See, the problem is we grew up in a time where the home run was king, right?
Yeah.
Tony wasn't a big home run guy. So
singles.
Maybe gets overlooked. But if you were to play, which Stan can play right now, sports talk baseball, Tony Gwynn's going to be a hell of a problem.
In the All-Star game, though, I mean, the Rangers was what I always used. But I have to say, in the summer of 97, didn't happen for either of them. There was talk about Gwynn, or I think it was Larry Walker, going after Williams' record of 400 season. They didn't do it. That's just too hard to do. But I don't recall anybody ever even getting a whiff of talking about going after that record.
No more.
Going after 400 in a season?
I would say he hit 360 like twice.
But I don't remember anybody talking about that all the way through the summer. Like,
who's
going to do it? So it's just crazy what he did. But want to get into this. I am not as familiar with this guy, but he's in the news quite a bit. This is Robert Kennedy's son, RFK Jr. So I guess I've read up on him. They're saying he's a Democrat, but I don't really see him as having those type of views. He's now endorsed Trump. Is this impactful? Does this matter? Like he's a anti-vax. Someone's fan. That's all I can hear right now. What's up, Kendall? Shout out to Kendall and his podcast.
Hey, am I frozen, by the way?
You are frozen.
You're frozen.
You can hear me, but I'm just frozen.
Yeah, this happened to me on Jack's Rangers show the other day, and then I went back and I was frozen the whole time. So Bobby might just be audio.
So wait, what am I, Amphibium over here? I thought it was Comcast.
Seems that way. I do just want to point out before we move on. I know we're talking about.
Oh my God, he lives.
Oh
my God,
Johnson.
Good call, Scott. This is your show.
Yeah,
he's chiming in. He's on vacation, to full disclosure.
Okay.
So he's probably sipping a pina colada somewhere.
I would love to see Scotty. I haven't seen Scotty in a long time. I'd love for him to hop on. I gotta say though, before we move on, I know we're talking about some other stuff. Nomar did hit 372 in the year 2000. That's pretty good.
I mean, that is pretty good. But RFK Jr.
Yeah,
I haven't paid attention enough to know anything about him, but people are like, this endorsement's a big deal. I don't see it because I don't. Vacation mode, Scott McVicker. Do you know much about him? I'm just
not a fan. I do hate that he is anti-vax. I think that's a problem. If you don't have to,
COVID conspiracy guy.
People are obsessed with vax meaning COVID, right? But it means so much more than that, and I do think it's a problem. He tried to sue the Biden administration over censorship, over vaccine charities, and I feel like he's so politically focused, right? Like, this is the best thing for my political career. It doesn't matter if it's the best thing for humans, right? And I think that's the problem we run into in general with politics, right? You have unfortunately, we have maybe a two-party system where you say Democrats want this for these people, Republicans want that for these people, right? And there's very few people, whether they talk about it or not, because they say it, right? They both say it. You can hear Kamala say it, you can hear Trump say it. The American people, they all want this, but they're talking about their constituents, and they're not talking about the American people, right? So I struggle with that, and I think someone like RFK is killing his family legacy, and someone like him who says,
well, he's 70 years old. I don't remember hearing much about him, and I just feel like if he's not a Kennedy, and I mean his father is like historically important.
sure,
We're not talking like who gives a shit about this guy? Like legit, who gives a shit?
Yeah, who is he? He's trying to, I guess he's trying to make a name off that, and it's really like, who is he, and does he matter? I don't think he does, right?
No, it's just weird because there's been a lot of headlines and like it's just a bizarre thing to me where I've seen a lot of people like, oh, he flipped on the. I'm like, who is like? I don't know who this guy. I mean, I get he's Bobby Kennedy's son, but like, I don't think he has any importance.
I don't think he does either. And I think when you say like he flipped on the Democrats, like they didn't know who he was, right? So maybe politically he did, but like again, when you're running for office, you're running for the people, right? Yeah. And it's not the DNC versus the RNC; it's people versus people, and there's a lot of gray area, and I don't think that gets taken into account enough.
No, and to be quite frank, I don't think any of them give a rat's ass about any of us. If you really want my honest opinion on politicians, I don't think they care. Yeah. I think, and I think like we're not seeing the division as bad yet, but like when people go all in on something, I'm like, dude, they don't care, man. They don't care. They don't care about you.
I'm not convinced any of them do. I don't think AOC, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, anyone in between cares to that level that they think they do. They're very hyper focused on one thing, right? So I can agree that say, okay, we need to help people who don't make enough money or people who have student loans or whatever, but it's like, how do you help me, right? And that as an American is the hardest part of being in a democracy, because how do you vote for that, right? Like you can't vote for that. There's no catch-all candidate, right? You vote for what makes the most sense to you. So you could win a vote as a Democrat or as a Republican, but we're voting on emotion and we're not voting on what matters. And I think that's the biggest thing that we run into. And I hate that feeling because there's a million reasons to vote for Kamala Harris. Very few reasons for Donald Trump, in my opinion. But hey, he's like, I'll lower your taxes. I like lower taxes. I like investing in education. I like investing in medical. So it's hard. It's hard. I would never.
Yeah, you can't do that by lowering your taxes.
Right. It's sport. It's become, well, I gotta say, I mean, Trump is the master of entertainment, right? And he's kind of brought that into politics. So
he's also the king of like air dicking. Not to get too controversial, but have you ever seen Ricky Stenicki? That man, no. Left and right, just.
Oh yeah. But as far as really coming back in and taking this on another road here.
Someone pointed out to me and I can't unsee it. Like even when
I don't even know the reference. That's
it's a funny movie.
Ricky Stenicki on Amazon Prime. It's got John Cena. It's one of the funniest things I've ever watched.
The John Cena
show. Zac Efron is very funny. I recommend it.
I have seen I'm not going to sing the songs that John Cena was singing, but that seemed pretty funny. I mean, John Cena, man. I don't want to go down this road because this is probably a topic for another day. But he's done pretty good in Hollywood.
Great,
better than I thought he was going to do.
Cool. Yeah, he's really linked up to the comedy thing, right? Where The Rock is like, and I have nothing against The Rock, but I do feel like he's the same character in a lot of movies.
I don't watch The Rock's movies. I never.
Really? You don't watch Jumanji, the remakes?
Never. Really? Not once. Not once. G.I. Joe.
You didn't watch the other guys?
I did watch the other guys. But Rock is not an important piece of that.
You didn't watch The Tooth Fairy?
Dude, Aim for the Bushes.
I never saw Gridiron Gang. I have not seen much. I see him as The Rock, and that's what I see him as.
So what
And
do
I
you
know,
think Cena has? What's the difference? And why?
I think Cena sticks more towards the comedy-based stuff.
Yeah, because he can't do serious.
Well, that might sell me. I mean, I haven't seen any of Batista's movies. I never saw Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't do Marvel. My favorite wrestler movie is The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Movie.
Uh,
I will say Batista actually I think is the best actor
yeah.
of all of them, right? I mean, and going beyond Guardians of the Galaxy, he did another movie that was like it was about like catching an Uber basically and having that Uber person drive you everywhere.
Oh, I did see that. And the guy, gentlemen, I'm home. Get me the link. I'm Whoa, he's
No
coming
way.
back. He's coming back.
Give me
Get him a link.
Scotty now. Let's go.
This is getting. I'll get him the link. But to that point, we just went from politics to wrestling movies. But who is the greatest? What is the greatest wrestler-based movie with a wrestler actor?
Man, that's really tough.
Hmm.
Oh man, are we talking about like acting skills or just like?
No, just the best movie with a wrestler in it. I mean, I love The Condemned. I really
Marine
did.
3
Oh
with the
God.
Miz.
What about No Holds Barred? Mr. Nanny, Colin Whittew jumping in with the Hulk Hogan Mr. Nanny
I
reference.
love that. That's good.
Hogan's been canceled this week.
We're gonna talk about that shortly.
Hogan
But yeah,
is maybe the worst.
shout out to Colin. That's awesome. What's up?
Can we talk about it? Because Colin's so right, like in the best way possible. Hulk Hogan is the best actor of all wrestlers because they were so bad that they were good.
Urban Commando.
Urban Commando, it's unwatchable, but if you watch it and you know that going in, it's phenomenal in the best way possible.
I gotta say this though, like No Holds Barred is trash, but I love it.
Great
Like,
movie.
absolutely love it. I want that Rip figure, the Rip action figure.
Oh
there.
yeah, that's a good one.
Because they make it, but I think there was only like a handful of them made. But I gotta say that I do enjoy that. But yeah, those are. I was gonna say The Wrestler, but there's no wrestler in it. What
was the one where Paul White was like the school guy?
God, he had a TV show too. I mean, there's just some bad movies that were made.
I mean, that's where I'm gonna go. Do you want to say Happy Gilmore? Because Paul White was Happy Gilmore.
No, he was in Waterboy.
Peacemaker is by far the best wrestling thing ever. John Cena as Peacemaker is
very good. If we're just going wrestling, Guardians of the Galaxy does deserve a nod. I also do think that again, I can't think of the name of it, but Dave Bautista did like an Uber-based movie.
I know, and the other actor, I think he's an Indian actor. He's a comedian. I think that I have not seen it, but
I gotta Google it.
Let's do that, and then I want to get to this next
topic.
Okay,
so this is the movie is called Uber.
So Dan, this is telling you how serious people take RFK Jr. That we're like we don't care. We're going right to this.
About RFK Jr. I mean, like I've just seen the headlines, and I was like, I don't really know much about him. Like just because you're a Kennedy doesn't mean you're relevant in 2024.
He got relevant off of COVID. He's
like, why are we talking about a family that like that was 1960s? It's 2024. Like,
yeah. Can I say I saw the announcement that he was suspending his campaign. I was like,
what campaign?
It was 48 hours after he asked Kamala Harris to have a post inside her cabinet. And then he never got a response back to it until he went to Trump.
I never heard anything about this guy. He's almost 70 years old. He's not a Ralph Nader. He's not even a Ross
he was huge in the 80s about the environment, right? Helping clean up the environment or holding companies like credible for the environment. Then he got on this rant where he read a book about autism being caused by freaking vaccines, and then he's technically he calls himself not anti-vaxxer. He says I'm anti-science. I don't know. He's kind of a jackass.
I just don't. I had to look stuff up to even know anything about him. Like this guy's, you're Kennedy, that's great, and you're a step ahead of so many people because of that. But like, you're nobody. Like, no one cares.
Mhm.
I gotta talk about this though, and I've been wanting to talk about this with somebody here. We got flag football going to be in the Olympics. We have the quarterback, and I'm blanking on his name, but he came out and said, I believe I'm a better football player than Patrick Mahomes. My football IQ is higher or something.
Flag football IQ.
Is this getting a little like, I respect what people do at higher levels of flag football. That is not an easy game, but can we not do this like at all? Like, this is nonsense.
What do you mean? What's nonsense about it?
To say he's a better player than Patrick Mahomes,
At flag football?
it's not how he
He's talking
said
about
it.
at flag football.
I don't think
He's talking about people coming in from the NFL to replace them in 2028, and he's saying you're not coming in and replacing us. We're better flag football players than the NFL players.
I think if you taught Patrick Mahomes the game of flag football, he's going to be better.
It's such a different game.
I think if you taught Patrick Mahomes hockey, he'd be the best hockey player in the world. I mean, like,
yeah.
You just can't compare those, and like the objective of a flag football game where like maybe you have someone rush immediately and you have to dodge them and then throw, like it's just such a different game. And I think that Patrick Mahomes being the best NFL quarterback absolutely qualifies him to be the best flag quarterback. I mean, you got to catch someone to get them down in flag football too, right? You got to take their flag and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can't just step up though in the pocket and throw it like you can in the NFL. Take the hit because your flag will be off.
But Patrick Mahomes of all people throws it.
Oh yeah, he's
look. He throws it behind the back. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of pitch stuff. I can't imagine. I just don't know. I think flag football is getting a little ahead of itself.
Yeah.
I just think it's a weird to even mention NFL and flag football, like even in the same
Doesn't
sentence.
it feel like saying like I'm better at wiffle ball than
I'm a better softball player than
but I think, Dan, I think you're missing the point where he is on the U.S. flag football team. He's playing in the Worlds this year. He's a legit player, and everyone's saying we're gonna throw all these NFL players in here, and they're just gonna run train. But they're not. He's trying to say that you can't just replace us. We've been doing this for years. We've won championships. He won the world title in 2022. They're like legit players. And for the NFL to say we're just gonna flush our players in there like we're the NBA.
You're telling me that you couldn't teach Patrick Mahomes to be a better flag football player than this guy?
Yeah, if he could drop everything and just focus on that. But Dan, he has 2 weeks of the year to do this.
I don't think he needs more than 2 weeks.
Run train.
Where is Scotty? Did you send him
I don't know. I sent him the link. So
we want Scotty. Yeah,
Dan, you had to, I can't have this conversation with you until you go watch that guy's highlights and see him running down the field where he's doing this, and it's crazy what he's doing.
I mean, what are we talking about? I don't think this guy plays chess better than Patrick Mahomes. What are we doing?
Like I just. I don't know. I just thought that was a weird statement to make. Listen, if Rob Gronkowski,
if someone's going to take your job, though, someone's trying to take your job, you're going to defend it.
This guy's a $140, by the way. What is like? I mean, what are we talking about?
It's a different game.
If Patrick Mahomes comes to take my marketing job, I'm gonna have to be like, well, it's Patrick Mahomes. Let me give him a chance.
No chance. And it's not that easy to qualify. You can't just show. It's the same thing with 3-on-3 basketball. You can't just show up and make the dang All-Star the Olympic team. You have to play in these tournaments. You have to do all this stuff to get qualified. There's no way these NFL players are going to be able to do that.
They're
not going to drop it and miss the NFL season to go qualify for the Olympics.
Out. And he's saying he's a better football player than Patrick Mahomes. Then he is like in a fantasy delusional world.
In flag football? I don't know. I've never seen Patrick Mahomes play flag football.
I am sorry.
That's the same with Tyreek Hill telling me he's going to run a faster, 100-meter dash than Noah Lyles.
I think he can. I think he's right.
I don't think he can.
So are we gonna start comparing? Are we gonna start comparing Super Bowls to flag football championships? Is that the net? Like, come
Well,
on,
then, I mean, if you look at it, winning a world title in flag football, you're
Scotty.
winning against the world versus a
Oh,
national title.
let's go.
Hello,
So
sir.
Scott has joined the show,
I
the true
have.
co-host.
Scott's
So-
got to settle this debate. Yeah, I mean,
Bobby's trying to tell us that flag football players are better than NFL players.
It's
At flag
irrelevant.
football.
It's irrelevant because as soon as Patrick Mahomes rolls his ankle, it's never gonna happen again. It's
Yeah.
such an irrelevant conversation. because
I
hate
just, I don't think you compare professional.
Retired.
athletes
I could see
to-
Ricky Williams doing that.
Yeah.
You know, if this was 2010, maybe.
But our flag
Listen,
football
I
team
don't
is
know,
legit.
he's all
Our
true.
national flag football team is legit, and we don't need the NFL players to win it.
I'm sure it is.
But
I
how do you
mean-
say they're better than Patrick Mahomes?
At flag football, I've never seen Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. His wife just
But
endorsed
you've
Trump
seen
this
him play
week. I'm
football.
not trusting that
But-
man.
But you've seen him play football.
Not flags.
Okay, so the difference being
It's the difference of being able to take a hit and being able to make your hips out of the way
You're-
for a flag. I'm just saying.
Those guys do wiggle around like a wacky waving
It's
inflatable
weird.
arm-flailing
It's like,
tube man, right there. They're like running
whoa.
backwards.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. There's some entertainment value to watching a flag football game. Don't get me wrong.
You know,
But they're amateurs at the end of the day.
shout out. I feel like Jake Forsyth is some sort of like flag football like savant.
Yes.
He's won.
I
He's
feel
won
also
quite a
like
bit. No, there is a
Very good
huge. There's a huge flag. Like it's kind of like softball because I've seen the people in the Turkey Bowl. Like that. It's Steve Tampo. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He has a podcast just dedicated to flag football. And there is a huge community even in this area. So yeah, Jake is part of that, and I've seen him play. I've had him on my team before. He's pretty
So wait, are we
unbelievable.
saying Jake is better than Patrick Mahomes?
Okay, let's.
Listen,
That
listen,
I'd put
conversation-
money on it. I'd put money on it. Jake Forsyth made an incredible interception in
There you go.
2003 that jettisoned us to the
oh, so now
state
you,
title
you
game. So
gotta play,
I'll give it to Jake.
so you got to play both sides of the ball. Is that what we're talking about too? Is it?
You don't have to.
Well, so,
Why you
so
do,
my
yeah.
thing is, you have to be an absolute wiener to say that anyone is good is in flag football is better at football than Patrick Mahomes. That's just my only thing. And you give him. Bobby said he needs 2 weeks here. Give him 30 seconds to pick it up, and no one's beating Patrick Mahomes. They're barely beating him in the NFL.
You're talking about a professional athlete and somebody that has a hobby.
Right.
Well,
That's what
he
you're
gets
talking
paid in
about.
travels, Dan. He's not doing it as a hobby.
Okay, he
literally
gets
does
paid
play.
$100 in a handshake.
Well,
and
I
hot
mean, okay,
dog,
now you're just
and
downplaying it to be a
Does that
jerk.
guy have a
Like,
job?
Yeah.
What
he's
does that
legit
guy do for
sponsored and
work?
actually does stuff. Like, he
$100
actually
works
in
at
a
it.
handshake.
It's like Dick's like
Dan's like, oh, if it's not on a
$600
national level, if it's not on national television, they're not getting paid
I'm-
anything. You love the
going to
MLR,
Dixon.
Dan.
Yeah,
ESPN.
the MLR guys get paid. I'm telling you, they're not getting paid much.
They're getting paid. They're getting paid to play.
It's a hobby. It is a hobby. And if
Then
it's
you're
gonna be
saying
Olympics-
you are saying the Free Jacks is a hobby. That's what you just said.
no, they're professionals.
I'm
just
s-
like
I-
So
the
are
NFL.
they. They're professional flag football players.
I think I pay more for my daughter's swim lessons, and they're getting paid to play.
140 soaking wet. That
Swim lessons
quarterback.
are expensive, by the way.
Kevin Lumbaum, shout
Everything's
out. New
expensive.
dad, second
Big
time dad. Just had another baby.
Kevin-
All
Kevin
right.
is-
Congratulations, gentlemen, on having. Well, your kids are all a little bit older now, right? Two, one, two.
Oh, you haven't seen them since they've been dads.
No, man.
6
Kiara's
months.
2.
Mine's too. Yeah,
Cody's
mine's,
6
she
months.
turned 2 in May. Yeah,
Wow.
she rules, man. It's
So
awesome.
17 and a half more years in prison.
Yeah. It's
And they may grow up one day and have a hobby like flag football. Maybe they become
So
a
rude.
professional athlete.
So rude.
You
Yeah,
know,
if
so
you are-
like,
if you are
softball
something-
to me is a hobby. Flag football is also a hobby.
I think you're right.
It's a sport. It's a legit sport. Rugby in America is a hobby to Dan Bollier. That's what we just heard.
I wouldn't know. It's professional sport. They get paid.
You have to get
and-
paid Patrick Mahomes money, or else you're a hobby.
I mean, if
Dan
you
Bollier.
wanted to say like a guy like Bodie and Waka is better, could be better at football than some of the people in the NFL, that's believable.
I don't believe that at all. Not even a chance.
That's believable.
Not even a chance.
Maybe not Patrick Mahomes, but
No,
yeah.
he wouldn't even make. No, he wouldn't even be on a practice squad.
I want to pretend to be frozen, but my fan's going in my background. I was gonna,
So, anyways, this whole debate has been just nonsensical. And
Well, yeah, here I am. I'm back from vacation. Had a
Hey!
hell of a week down in Seabrook, New Hampshire, and Hampton.
how is that? How is
It
the
was
weather?
great. It was hit or miss. Like the first couple of days, it was sort of cloudy, a little bit of rain here and there, nothing major. We still hit the beach every day. Last couple of days, really hot. That brought like these flies, these horrible, terrible flies on the beach because we were right by the dunes. So they sort of ruined the end of it there a little bit. But yeah, it was great. Megan's parents came up, my parents came up for a few nights off and on.
Oh, like a whole
Good time.
family ordeal.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. It was a whole shebang. We fought. Well, we didn't fight, but we had a competition with another big family on the same road. It was a whole 3-act movie sort of thing.
Geez.
So yeah, it was crazy.
That could be a sitcom or
could be.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Exciting. I took your place last week, and the viewers asked for more. Unfortunately, they said, "Hey, listen,
welcome aboard, guys."
They said, "Hey, listen, we love Scott, but we like the direction you guys are going." And I said,
"I can hour to an hour and a half or 2 hours of just slapstick conversation."
There you go. That's the dream. That's what people want. That's podcast 101. Talk about nothing. Get people to listen. Profit. That's what it's all about.
Profit.
Well, it's good to have Scott back, and we'll get running with you guys may become contributors to this show, but I gotta talk about this. This is the big news, and I don't think it's a shocker to many people. J-Lo has more rings than Tom Brady. Bennifer split. Was that what they go by, Bennifer?
That would be the first run, not the second run.
What's this one called?
Straight to divorce.
They have gotten divorced, or they're getting divorced. I don't know either one personally or anything. Is anybody shocked, or like, what is the deal here?
I saw a couple of things of like him just like closing the door for her and just like slamming it and be like, or just like crushing a dunk. It's like
it was always just a pain in the ass to him to be married to Jennifer Lopez. It really was. I don't think anybody should be surprised, right?
I'm surprised she took his name. She's his last
name. Rings like Thanos. She's just like, I'm gonna ruin everyone's life, and that's her thing.
Do you think it's the same clerk that she has to go to the office to like change her last name back?
Well,
probably.
Here's Lopez all over again.
We actually didn't file the paperwork. You're still a Lopez.
Yeah, she's been married this is going on like 20 years of a marriage and not, and it's I thought this was forever.
I don't know. I don't think any celebrity, and I hate celebrity gossip stuff, right? But I don't think any of them are forever. They're too about themselves. I will say though, she dated Diddy. Did you know? He was weird?
She was dating Diddy when Shine shot the guy or the woman at the club.
She dated Diddy.
They were dating then.
There it is.
And now stuff's coming out about like Shine. He's converted to like a religion and he's cleaned up his act. She was dating him around that time that shooting happened too.
Yeah.
Is that because Shine found out about the little kids, or
I don't
allegedly?
I don't know.
Sued.
Diddy, man, it's
Diddy
a lot of these
was shining up Justin Bieber, if you know what I mean. So
listen, when we found out Bill Cosby was a serial rapist, that's when I just went everybody and like he was convicted.
You've been banned from this network.
Like Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show, like he's one of the worst human beings ever. Like,
oh, what was he in? Did he like roofie all of
people?
his
Yeah. For years, he would say it in his comedy act. Like he was like telling people like I'm drugging people, and he was really doing it.
That's not a joke, though. You can't just say
No,
that.
it's not a joke.
That's
No,
it's
I
real.
told you I was doing it.
If you listen to his stand-up in the 70s, he was saying stuff. Oh, put a little of this in, and it's like he was really actually doing.
Was he like
that.
singing it though? Was it like a rhythmic thing? Like you sit there?
Well, I've been
Oh, I'm putting
putting drugs in the pudding pops. And,
Oh,
It's
God.
it's bad. I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff in Hollywood.
listen, I
in
don't want to
music
make light of anything Bill Cosby did, right? But there is an episode of Family Guy where he's doing the intro of the Cosby Show, and they're all passed out, and he's like, doing his like, and it is genuinely one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And listen, StreamYard, don't give me shit. I feel very sorry for the people who were affected by that, but Family Guy probably knocked that joke out of the park.
Well, Family Guy's not afraid to go dark with the dark humor, so that's pretty standard for them to do. But like the Cosby thing for me, once that was like he got convicted, I was like, there ain't no one that's like not. I mean, there's nobody that would shock me after that. You know what I
Really?
mean? Like
that's the guy. That's the guy who did it.
That's him.
He was the ultimate family guy, family man. I shouldn't say family.
Yeah.
Family man though, and like when you looked at the even a lot of the stand up, and you weren't reading between the lines, and the Cosby Show, he was like America's dad. For
Kevin Spacey, though, right? Like how about
Kevin
him?
Spacey.
That was a tough one for me.
He-
That was a tough one for me.
And
he
then
was
you
so
saw-
good. I can't watch a Kevin Spacey movie and
What
feel
a
good about
phenomenal
it. You know?
actor!
Like I can't.
Yeah, so it's like that sucks.
I can't do
Yeah,
that. you
Yet
know?
there's still people out there that believe Michael Jackson's innocent. I'm like, how do you believe that at this point?
All right, hold on. So
Full
I was
circle.
reading a
Back to
post the
Michael
other day. Michael Jackson, he had vitiligo. He was is that and that was it was but is that why he was always
He claimed that, but a lot of pictures didn't make
like,
sense.
I
There's
saw a bunch of like spots, like a leopard man.
there's a lot of theories on whether he did or didn't. Michael Jackson was probably one of the most insane people ever.
I don't know. There's a lot of insane people out there.
I would much rather talk about Ben Affleck
Because
because I don't know, like what at the same time, what's Ben Affleck doing? Like, why is he even getting back to Jennifer Lopez in the first place?
I don't know. Why did he release
don't-
Jennifer Gardner?
I don't-
Like it seems she
They
seems
get
like
divorced.
Much rather Jennifer Lopez
because of
than
him, I
Gardner.
believe.
it's the ears.
He's a pain in the butt to deal with.
It's the ears. Google Jennifer Gardner ears, and that's gotta be the
You'll
problem.
unsee. You can't see it.
It's superficial and it's unfortunate, but he took cheeks over ears. What can you say?
Yeah, I mean,
Wouldn't we all?
Certainly did.
Yeah. Well, all right, we'll talk about this. Hulk Hogan movie was going to come out, and it was going to have Thor. I forget the actor's name.
Christian Hemsworth.
Todd Phillips was in on this. I heard. Is that right?
I don't know anything about that.
They've now canceled it. I mean, Hogan's another one. Like, I don't think he has like a charge like Cosby or Michael Jackson or anything like that. But like,
The world doesn't need a Hulk Hogan movie. Like, why would we need that in the first place? You know?
You're right.
Yeah, no.
We know him on TV. We know everything.
We have enough Hulk Hogan movies, and they're all.
No.
I always say this. I like Hulk Hogan. I do not like Terry Bollea, the human being.
Well, so he recently
They're kind of the same person.
He launched
One's a character.
He launched a beer,
plays it.
right? And it was supposed to be like he wants to be like America's beer, and he said we all want the same thing. He's like, we all want the same thing. We want religion in schools, and we want guns in classrooms. And he said all this crazy stuff, and it was like,
Hogan.
Yeah.
Is that he ripped off his shirt for Trump. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
Is that what we're talking about? All right. Yeah.
So he made a beer called like All American Beer or something because he's like, I am a breed, you know what I'm saying? And he made a thing, and it fell flat, and it's only sold at Walmart, which also feels Trumpy. I don't know. I can't really explain that one. I'm not saying
pillows.
There, but My Pillows, a lot of weird stuff there, and I just thought what he did was like try to like. He tried to add the Hulk Hogan flair to Trump, and we're like, this is 30 years too late, unfortunately.
Well, it's his buddy. I mean, that goes back to the 80s. Like they've been friends a long time. Yeah. But he recently said something racially motivated towards Kamala Harris, and people are shocked. I'm like, what are you shocked about? This guy is known for being a racist. Like,
could you imagine voting based on Hulk Hogan, be like, "Oh, Hulk Hogan likes him? Hell yeah, he's getting my."
I don't. I,
What are we doing? What are you doing?
I don't think that. I don't think that
I was
added any.
excited, but then Hulk Hogan stepped in, and now
I think
Hulk Hogan fencers. Yeah, they're right.
no.
Yeah.
You know what happened there? He probably texted Trump like, "I think this would be cool. Let me cut a promo for you." And Trump was like, "Yeah, you can do that. Let's do it." That's pretty much all
I'm
there
not going
was
to lose
do it.
votes. I'll say that.
Yeah.
You're not scaring anybody off.
It's the people that are going to vote for him were not going to be turned away by Hulk. They were, oh my God, Hulk Hogan's endorsed Donald Trump. I'm off this train. No, like that wasn't going to happen.
There were some people who were like, "Wait, are we talking Hulk Hogan Red and Yellow, or are we talking Hulk Hogan NWO? Did heel Hogan endorse Donald Trump? Because I don't know about that."
I mean, a lot of wrestling would support him. I mean, the McMahon family obviously did, and there's others, but Hulk Hogan showing up
either.
No, but Hulk Hogan showing up for Donald Trump is not like shocking in any like realm. They've been buddies for a long time.
Yeah,
you know.
he's also not moving the needle. You know what I mean? Not
No,
that
but it's spectacle. It's if people are jumping on board because of that, which they're not, they were already there. So
I just would love that person to exist because I think that'd be funny. Like this guy was like, "Oh, I was gonna vote for all Kamala, but she don't got Hulk Hogan on her side.
She ain't got Hogan.
She ain't got no Hulk Hogan on this.
This is it. This is the final straw.
This guy's like,
I'm going.
I can't wrap my head around that. I think I would love for that person to exist, but I feel like it's written for almost a sitcom.
Yeah, the whole thing is just. But I didn't think that was a big deal or anything. I just thought it was like, all right, they want to march out Hulk Hogan in 2024, and
did the Democrats march out any wrestlers?
No, but they would have Kevin Nash. If you see his Instagram, he is in love with Kamala Harris. He's always posting about that.
That seems opposite to me. That doesn't.
You could, I don't know what he could have.
The money. He knows where it's going.
Kevin Nash could come out. I don't know what he could do, but I don't.
We're gonna meet him next month. So
yeah, he's coming to New Hampshire.
I just think that Kamala Harris was like, here's a speech from Barack Obama and his wife. They've owned the White House. They know what it takes. And then they were like, "Oh, you got Obama? You got Obama? I got Hulk Hogan.
I got Hulk Hogan."
And he can go babyface or heel anytime he wants.
Well, Obama's just turned into that. Like, what do? He was the president. Now it's over. It's like, all right, yeah, Colin Barack.
Did the same thing with Clinton. That's
I don't know.
He can run for the Senate if he wants.
Those conventions are always like dumb. I don't watch.
Such a spectacle. It is. It's just
like
circus.
I don't care. Like I didn't watch either one of them.
Going back like to the 1800s, where it was like people fighting each other to get their electoral votes and stuff. That was when it was cool. Now it's like rolling out Hulk Hogan.
Let's rally up everybody that's already voting for us.
Yeah, it'd be funnier to see Hulk
and make some noise.
Like that's so. Let me just say this. Like, let's just put it this way: in this election, like, it's going to come down to a couple states, like it always does. Is anybody really? Probably most people have already made up their minds. Like, we're just going through the motions, and people are either going to go out and vote, or I think you're going to have a low turnout. To be honest,
you're probably right.
Probably have a good turnout, but like this is the one election where we literally have like what one president did, and what a vice president had been part of an agenda. You know what both agendas are. What are we doing? Just whatever you like to go with.
I don't think there's anybody that's like, I'm getting in that poll and I'm not sure what I'm doing. Like, I don't know. It's just going through the motions, rattling people up. And that's basically what our political system is. It's just two sides.
That's the same in every country though. Like
do you like chocolate ice cream? Do you like vanilla ice cream? You have two choices, right?
I've been wicked into coffee Oreo the last couple of years. Like I was always chocolate growing up, but jumped into coffee Oreo one day and haven't looked back.
I like the way I always, when I go to get ice cream, I say, give me your Oreo ice cream, but like give me a milkshake. Like
I'm a frap guy. Yeah.
Frap.
Are you guys
Oreo
though the
frap.
kind of guys that go in there and ask to taste multiples?
No, I know what I want.
Okay, you know,
I don't.
Figure
I
it out.
dabble.
Multiple,
Figure it
I
out.
don't know. I'm not that guy.
No, but I'm a frap guy because I don't want to make a mess. It's just so
You know what
convenient.
I'm saying?
Like, it's all going in the same place. Like,
Yeah, they're like, oh, you
drive
want,
and
you want
frap.
a cone or a cup? I was like, neither.
No,
Yeah.
that other option.
let
That
me introduce you guys to something I'm thinking.
start that thing up, baby. I love a good frap.
Exactly. I'm about that.
Sorry, Dan, the wheels keep coming off.
Chelmsford
Yeah.
Creamery in Billerica. Oh, I think it's in Billerica. It's technically in Chelmsford, but it's in Billerica. It's like on the line. Phenomenal. And they say any flavor is a milkshake.
See, I'd take a Sting movie. I'd take a Phenom Sting movie.
Oh, yeah.
Sting's a Phenom.
I think there is a Sting movie, but it was a Christian-based movie because he, yeah,
Really?
see the light or something like that. I don't recall. Like he's
No, about Sting, not like him starring.
No, it was. I don't know the whole.
Oh,
I don't remember exactly what it
Steve
was.
Borden,
but
not like the singer.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking.
Oh.
Yes, I don't refer to the other Sting as Sting. I don't.
Good call, Steve Borden, knowing his name. Like, respect.
Sting was always my favorite. Thank you. Yeah.
I
Powerful soul patch, but that's
there
all
you go. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of wrestlers, a year ago today, was the passing of Bray Wyatt, who, pretty like a lot of different ideas came out of him, and I thought he was one of the more entertaining people. My dog is named after him, his real name. Can you is this still pretty shocking? I mean, you look at some wrestlers that passed away young, like out of nowhere, like Eddie Guerrero. Owen Hart was an accident, but I did not see this coming. I know Scott's not as big a wrestling fan, but you guys still pretty shocked.
Guys,
by
I gotta
this?
drop the baby woke up.
All right. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Hey. Yeah, I mean that was a surprise, I guess, right? What was it? What even was it? Was it a heart attack? Is that what it was?
He was supposed to be wearing something he was having heart issues, and he was supposed to be
Monitor?
wearing something, and he wasn't wearing it.
COVID.
Defibrillator?
He had COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Messed with his heart, and they said you have to wear this defibrillator, and he just didn't wear it. And they said if something happens, this is going to shock you back. And he was like, I don't need it. And then he went to nap or something, and he had a heart attack, and he didn't have his thing on, and no one checked me. I wouldn't say no one checked on him, but when they went to check on him, he was already.
Guy's taking a nap. Yeah, what are you?
Yeah, it's just not smart.
36 years old, and it's just like, what he really brought though was like just a different kind of character, and he was able to reinvent himself. With the Fiend character, which I thought should have been a movie. I thought you could have had a movie out of that. He was still napping. He was, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
kid, not so much, but
yeah.
But
he was going a nut, Bobby's kid.
Oh,
but yeah, no, I did not. It's kind of sad, and now, but I think it's really good what they're doing with the Wyatt Six, and continuing his legacy, because he really had a lot of story to be told still, especially with the Uncle Howdy character, and that just kind of his brother Bo Dallas. But
I think it probably gave Bo a second lease on WWE. I mean, I know he was supposed to be that Uncle Howdy character, but this makes him the focus. And I'm not saying that's more of a trying to see the sun through the trees, right? But the other side of that too is
wise.
Right, you know what I'm saying? The other thing, like, just he should have been wearing it, and we do it a lot, right? Doctors say do this, and we say I feel fine, and you feel fine until you don't, right? So he really should have been doing that. And I will say, Dan and I met his dad maybe a week later.
2 weeks.
Very shocked. Yeah. 2 weeks later, I was very shocked to even see him there. And he was clearly upset. He was having a hard time with it, but he was very, very, very nice, and appreciated that we were there. And I think Dan, when you were in the shirt, all that kind of stuff, that was pretty cool. I thought.
I went up and I didn't know what to do, because obviously he's famous. I don't know him personally, and I just said, I'm sorry for your loss. And I wanted to say more, like, to be like, your son, from like as a fan standpoint, was like anytime he was on screen, I wanted to be watching. and it's kind of carrying over with the Wyatt Six here. Anytime they're on the screen, like I'm gonna stop what I'm doing. I'm gonna pay attention because I don't always pay attention to everything going on Raw. Those segments I'm hooked on, and that's how I was with Bray. And it's just, I don't know, man.
So
It's
when we
just,
met him, you didn't have the dog yet, right? That was after.
I did not. No, I decided that when I got a dog, I was going to name it Wyndham.
Would you have done that if you didn't pass away? Do you think you'd be named Wyndham?
Probably not. I don't think I would have.
Oh, wow.
I love the name. So
what would you call him?
Yes, the Fiend.
Give me several names you would have called him.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Yeah, what else? Jack. Like a dog named Jack.
No, it would have been something not. I wouldn't have used the common name. And Kevin, shout out the Fiend. I was the Fiend for Halloween one year.
Yeah, it's a great costume.
But the Fiend was like he really. That was the most interesting character where he's this Mr. Rogers type person, and Cody heel turn. Mr. Rogers and the Firefly Funhouse, and then he's always talking about this Fiend thing, and then that's what he wrestled. Like that was like a really good idea, like even better than Cactus Jack being Mankind, or like these two alter egos. That was like and that was him. He came up with the idea.
It was deep, and the reason it was because it was subjective, right? Like there was parts of it you could see either it was one thing or not, but some people said, oh, he's Mr. Rogers and then he's the Fiend. He's a double personality. Some people said, oh, he's dead, he's in purgatory, and this is the living version of himself. And I mean, there's just a million mascot
of the year, Wyndham. He overwhelmingly won.
The dog that I lovingly refer to as Winston.
That's a good name, though. I like that. I like that for a name.
His name would never be Winston.
But it was kind of cool because it was like he didn't say exactly what it was, right? And I'm sure that was in his mind. But it was multiple things, right? Like in my mind, he was in purgatory, and this was like the Firefly Funhouse is where he was stuck in the mind of maybe the Fiend, and the Fiend was like the worldly version of whatever was happening. That was just really cool. And I thought it was deep, and the fact that I was even thinking about that, it's just like it's like reading a story.
And then he goes up to the ring and goes all upside down, and
he's like,
so much fun.
There's a firefly up in it. It was like I just thought it was cool, and so I respect that. And I thought,
I mean, you put anything with him, the Firefly. We were at WrestleMania, and they're showing the package, and everybody pulls out the phones, and
cool.
Just such a unique thing that wasn't really happening in wrestling at all. And that was all Bray. Really, I mean, the Bray Wyatt character was Waylon Mercer in the 90s. What was it?
Waylon
Mercy. He had that Cape Fear type Robert De Niro character. It didn't work. It didn't work for him. Maybe the powers to be, whatever. Bray saw that and took it to his own level as this cult like leader, and just very unique.
So I wasn't old enough to watch Waylon Mercy, but my understanding is it was working, but Dan Spivey was just so old by that time he couldn't stay healthy. I don't know. I don't have the numbers.
I don't remember him being on TV very long.
Yeah, this is Scott agrees.
To my knowledge, yes.
I will say though, we were at WrestleMania and the Fiend comes out, right? And they do the Fireflies, and I'm just like, I like to consider myself a casual viewer because they don't have cable, so I don't know what's really going on. But all of a sudden, you're on your phone, and then all of a sudden, everyone's flashlights on you. It's like, shit!
Right.
I'm part of this now, So it's just cool to be, even if you're not a huge fan, just be that right. It's almost like a moment.
It's engaging.
It's engaging.
It's provocative.
It's the people going.
Let me see here. Do you know if you close your eyes and pretend to shake salt on your tongue, count to 5, you'll actually taste it? What is that? I
wouldn't try that.
I'm not gonna.
It's gonna make you look like
you're jerking a wiener in your mouth or something.
Oh yeah. All right. Kevin always coming in with the zingers.
He almost got you though. He could have got you.
I thought I didn't know where to have.
Always quick with the joke to light up your smoke.
Gotta talk about this big weekend too for AEW. They're doing their All In London. They're in Wembley again. To my understanding, they haven't sold the amount of tickets that they sold the previous year, right? Because it's the first time in England, and obviously they love wrestling in London. Is this show going to be successful?
I think so. I mean, for them, sure. I think
It's gonna make them profit, right? I would think
it's
so.
gonna make money off it. I think if you're WWE, you need to sell it out, right? I don't think they need to sell it out. I think they just need to make profit for it to be.
I mean, the card is pretty solid for the most part. You know,
you said it's in Wembley, right? I feel like anytime you
Wembley.
go to one of those, I don't want to say exotic locations, but a foreign location, it's gonna sell enough tickets to be successful. You would think, right?
I think so. I will say I watched a video with Brian Danielson.
What's he talking about?
I'm not sure. And he did a thing on like snacks from the U.S. versus snacks from England.
Snacks is a good dog name.
Snacks is a great dog name, and I will say like it kind of blew my mind. There were some snacks in England. I'm like, I can't believe that people enjoy that. Like there's it's called a sausage roll, and it's more like vegan, but it's more like almost like a pastry. And what they had
like a pate, like a meat pate, like
well, exactly, yeah, you know. And what they likened it to was a plant-based Whopper, and I was like, and everything they showed was like this, like very like mild version of something, and a very like fatty, shitty version of it. I was like, USA, baby.
I hope that.
Again, this is not AEW, but I will say, my wife, her family from the UK visited last weekend, and we were at this place. They said, I said, do you want anything to her little cousin, who's maybe 10, 11. I said, do you want anything? It was, I'll take an ice cream. I said, good. What flavor? He said, just plain vanilla. I said, okay. He said, no, don't tell me the size because it's one size. And I brought it over to him, and he was shocked. It was like your standard like medium in the U.S. And he was shocked.
It's huge nowadays. You go to an ice cream stand, you're getting tons of ice cream.
Like if this is the cone end,
like
we're talking here.
That's what I'm saying. They scoop it up. They just keep going to the sky nowadays.
It blew his mind. He was like, "Wait, this is all one ice cream?" And I was like, "Listen, this is America."
Well, there are places though that aren't always like that.
I said, if you don't like it, eat 3/4 of it and throw it out. That's American. I mean, you actually are not supposed to finish it. Sorry, I know it's supposed to be AEW focused, but I thought that was important because the AEW people, Paul White and Paige, Soraya, I think is her name.
Soraya.
They also did it, but she's from the UK and he's from the US, and she clearly liked the UK stuff. But like their snacks are much different than us, and I think if their snacks and the sales of these snacks are anything like All In at Wembley, then I'm not surprised they're not making the sales because our stuff is better.
That was smooth.
You know, I did that, Scott. You said I did. I brought it right back.
You sounded like Eric Bischoff a little bit though when you said it. It was weird.
I felt like
if you play this back, you sounded like a little. I don't know. I got Eric Bischoff.
You've been listening a little too much. 83 weeks.
No, I like it. That's what I'm all about.
I honestly, this card looks good. I'm not gonna be able to watch. I have stuff going on. I can't watch a wrestling pay-per-view at 1 p.m. But I actually think they've done a good job building it. Hopefully that does well. It looks like they're gonna get a TV deal again. So I don't know. I mean, I think like most people, you know, that are wrestling fans, we want to see the company succeed, but they do a lot of stuff to shoot themselves in the foot. I have noticed that Tony is relevantly not. He's a little more quiet than he has been in years past.
Good. He just shut up.
I think it is time for him to shut up and just put out a good product and stop crying, you know. And I think this show could be in the step in the right direction. That's
the thing. I would watch it, but I consider him a penis, and I'm like, I can't watch this. Can't see it.
He's on the Mount Rushmore of crumb bums.
He is. No, he belongs there.
2-time.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to most, Dan? What's the match?
Oh, I would have to say I am looking forward to Britt and Mercedes. I actually like what they're doing with Will Ospreay and MJF, and that's going to be a good rematch. They have sold me on Daniel Bryanson versus Swerve. At first they didn't. Now career versus title.
I want to know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot on that card that's just not. It's even Hook Jericho. A lot of people have been complaining about Jericho. I would like to see Hook just squash him at this point.
My problem is me and Jericho have the same body at this point.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you got that concave chest. You got that
Yeah.
Kofi Kingston.
Oh,
Well,
I'm sorry.
I have to give. But I have the dad, but he's like, I have a 6-pack. I was like, where? Where?
Oh, yeah.
I have to give. I have to say this too. Timeless Tony Storm, Mariah May. I'm not as big on Mariah May, but I think Tony Storm, with the thing that she's been doing, is like I don't think it's time for her to lose that title. But I think that there's a good debate that she is the best wrestling character, like in wrestling, even maybe just women's division, but she is like very entertaining.
Is she British?
I think she's Australian.
Say British. Probably not.
I got a body. I got a body like Viscera. That's who I've got a body like right now.
Hey.
And it's really uncomfortable for me. But
yeah.
He was known as he was the original. Well, maybe not the original Big Sexy, but he was up there. Big Sexy.
He was no, the original, like that was Sexual Chocolate, Mark Henry, more or less.
Ooh.
Nope.
Weird.
It was Viscera. And I probably have a body closer to the hand that Mark Henry and Mae Young delivered.
Oh, that was weird.
I might be closer to James Ellsworth than anything.
Ooh, what was up with his chin though? Like he had no chin. Was there like a chin accident or something?
Yeah, it seemed like he lost.
Like, was he like
very traumatic accident?
Like running really fast and just fell into the ground?
It just seems like he chinned the ground. Was like, oh, is my chin okay? It was like it's
like,
a little bit more, but
did it get removed from dipping? I wonder.
No, I think that's just his face, and honestly, I think that's why they said, "Hey, this guy kind of has an interesting look. Let's put him on TV."
He's got a shelf life, though. You know what I mean?
Looks like that.
It was a short
sloth from Ice Age.
He does.
Right. Great reference.
I want to get into this best week ever. I don't know if Scott has a pick, but Mike,
hit me, baby. You just want to pictures. You're all good. But go ahead, Mikey.
Let's go to Mike's first.
No, I definitely remember what I said, but I want you to introduce it so that I can build on it. If you could just.
Oh yes, you have picked Tim Waltz, and then I didn't even know what Tim Waltz looked like. So this is.
It looks like that's him. And we're saying, who do you have a body like? Now that I'm seeing him,
he's in good shape for a guy his age. I would think so.
You know, and he might not look in that picture, but he is only 60 years old. And if you look at what we've been dealing with for the last however many years, we finally have like young.
That's a COVID 60 right there. That's what we look like now. After
COVID 60 right there. He's earned it. He's wearing it, and. I think what I like about him is his son, who is actually autistic. When he was like doing his speech, he was doing his exact speech. His son was like tearing up, so excited and just so happy. I was like, this guy rules, man. Like you can clearly see he's such a good dad, such a good person. He has a military background that they keep trying to poke into, but he just is a great guy. And I think that was like, if you were voting Democrat because you feel like you had to. Or if you were voting for Biden because he was who you had to vote for. And then they said, all right, it's Kamala now and just get on board, right? He feels like a reason to get on board. And I thought he had a great reception. I thought he had a great speech. I thought his family represented well. I think he kind of solidified himself as, a force in this election. And I think he's going to drive a lot of votes. So I do think he had the best week ever because a lot of people didn't know who he was. Before when they announced he was going to be the VP, we were like,
who would have known? Yeah, I mean that's sort of a tight spot to get thrown into at the end there, and I don't think anybody knew that guy's name before 3 weeks ago, right? I mean,
never heard of
it. Honestly, I didn't know what he looked like till I pulled up the image. That's how much I've just stayed out of this.
Right.
So honestly, I like that pick.
I wonder too because so many people have called Kamala a DEI hire, which I don't think is fair. Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I was gonna say, I was getting there. I was getting there in my mind.
I could see it. I could see the wheels turning. I knew you knew it too. And like I think Exactly. And, you know, I think it's unfair to her because she does have a career to back it up. I do think she does go between Indian and black back and forth. And I only say that with my Indian background. But I think that he was almost a safe choice, right? Where the people who maybe felt like that, who maybe be bouncing back and forth, might fight for.
I'll tell you what he looks like. He looks like your classic vice president. I mean,
it was a draw,
like,
vice president.
I mean, honestly,
right?
is that not a tactic to
I knew
right?
it. Oh my
Is that
God.
not a tactic to get a certain demographic and age and color and background to sort of sway back to your side if you maybe
Yeah,
I could see that over Hulk Hogan. I mean,
100%.
right? Bringing that back, yeah.
My thing is if Tom Cruise made a movie where he's like a CIA agent and he reports directly to the
He's
president.
made 17 of those. But yeah, go ahead.
He's the exact guy. All right, we're gonna hire this guy. He's a non-known actor, but he's gonna play the president or vice president, and you don't
the
know.
vice president in The Day After Tomorrow looked exactly like that guy.
They're saying,
and I feel like the vice president in Independence Day might have looked similar as well, but I'm not 100%.
I think you're right. Bill Biden played the president, which is like, all right, that's the Obama, and then you need the pissed off old white guy,
Whitey,
to play the Biden.
Exactly.
And I can see that they nailed it.
Yeah, what is he? Is he a senator, congressman,
senator,
governor? Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing.
My best week ever is probably the as I say, the GOAT of R&B, one of the best entertainers ever, and she is taking her act to Vegas, and we know that's been successful for Usher, Celine Dion, but I got to give a shout out to the GOAT, Janet Jackson, as my best week ever. Good for Janet. I wish it was in Boston, not Vegas, but yes, Janet Jackson.
I liked her at the Super Bowl.
You love Janet Jackson. Dan. But you're not wearing a Janet T-shirt.
No, Brian Malonis, Manchester's own. Yes, Scott. How about you?
Did you happen to get my my message and
maybe I did.
Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Mentioned it. When I hopped on. Best week ever is me and my family. We had a hell of a vacation.
Look at this. Why is a werewolf?
Look at this. Yeah, no, that was this morning. Today.
Man, they nailed your look.
Dude, oh no, this guy killed it. So yeah, we were down in Seabrook and Hampton Beach all week, and on our way home, we hit the boardwalk this morning. Got this guy to do this. Super chill guy. He's been doing it for 30 years there. Megan actually got her. He drew her when she was like 15, I think, 16, 14, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, he killed it. The kid's all about spooky Halloween stuff. He asked us what the theme we wanted. She said spooky, and he just ran with it. But yeah, we had a great week. And it's funny because the guy was playing music, because we're sitting there for like 30, 45 minutes or so, give or take. And he's just playing, a playlist of his drawing music, and Janet came on, and he's like, "Oh, you
really?
guys are probably He's like, "You guys probably are too young to know who this is." And Megan's like, "What the hell are you talking about? It's Janet Jackson. Like, get the hell out of here, man!" Like, she's started immediately. But yeah, we had a great week. Yeah, best week ever.
Awesome.
Janet Jackson's someone that they before canceling was canceling, they tried to cancel her.
Well, this guy was 60 and said that we were too young for her. Like, what are you? Get out of town.
Too old for her?
Get out of town.
I'm gonna ask, is it the same hat?
Pardon?
Is it the same hat as he?
Yeah, it's the flip. Take that picture off, Dan. Like a little flip reveal. Manchester chicken tender hat. Oh yeah,
chicken tenders. Hell yeah!
Shout out to Nick.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Speaking of the McVicker family, I want to apologize to Scott. I sent him a message, and it frightened him, and that was not my intention.
Dude, yeah, I didn't want to talk about it. Yeah, I'm like, real quick sidebar. Yeah, Dan sends me a message the other day. I just got a message about your brother-in-law.
I didn't know this was gonna go.
Middle of the day, like 1 o'clock. I was actually dropping a deuce at work, I think. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably like 11:30, 12 o'clock, right when it sort of hits you.
It's a sweet spot. Yeah.
Maybe one, maybe a later one. But yeah, I was like, my brother-in-law, question mark. Actually, let's pull up the transcript. Let's just pull it right up here. Give me 15 seconds.
I didn't realize that it sounded open-ended as it did.
How open-ended does this sound? All right, so here we go. Wait, how far back was it? Was it a while ago? Oh no, I didn't go. I went back too far. Yeah, here we go. 12:01 on the dot. Nailed it. Sniped it. Just got a message about your brother-in-law. Question mark. Lives in North Carolina, right? Yeah. What's the message? Question mark. Someone else I know living, and then it went. I feel like a minute or so. So here I am, pooping at work, no clothes on because that's how it has to happen. Sweating probably. Like what? Like what's going through my head? I have no context right now. Just got a message about your brother-in-law. Like, oh, okay, well, yeah. I mean, some stuff. They had some relationship stuff happen recently. But did he get in a car accident? Did he have a heart attack? Is he dead? Like, what are you talking about? Like, why is Megan not texting me? But like, my first thought is, do I call Megan right now while I'm taking a dump at work? But no. Someone else I know living down there asking about him, wondering if he's good at softball. I said, he's played for a long time. Oh, WTF, man. Thought he effing died or something. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I honestly thought this was going to be a story of like, hey, man, I heard about your brother-in-law. You go, what? He says you're...
Just got a message about your brother-in-law.
So 90.
Finish the first thought, Dan. Just got a message about your brother-in-law's softball skills. 2 words.
I will say,
saved me a month of stress.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was someone messaged me and I'm like, so like, how do you know so and so? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's my
backward tack guy always having, always will be.
Brother-in-law.
The day I die.
And then I was thrown off that he's like, oh, because I knew the guy moved. I knew the guy had moved somewhere. So I'm like piecing together why.
Did he get hit by a tornado because it's North Carolina and I don't know what type of weather's down there? Like,
that
was another thought that I literally had with this span of 5 seconds.
You gotta
was it like
too,
hurricane tornado?
I was thrown off. I forgot that he moved to North Carolina. So when this guy was asking me, I knew he was there, and I was like, "That's weird." What? Oh, I was like, maybe he moved back. And then I like sat there. I went, "Oh, they both live in the same area." And he's from. So I was just like, "Oh, you should probably definitely take someone that lives in New Hampshire."
Oh, time out. So this guy, he texted you asking about softball players or asking about my brother-in-law without context as well. So like, were you left without context?
The first message was, "How do you know this person?" And I was like, "Because I get a lot of random
people. Like, I get a
lot of random messages in Facebook.
Like, what's the first thing you think about? Like, did he get arrested for something? Because that's what I would have got.
Well,
how do you know this guy? Yeah, you just step auto.
There's no reason to the rest of us unless something's wrong.
I thought it was maybe softball related, but then I thought your brother-in-law was still living in Massachusetts. Because I believe that's where he lived before, right?
He lived in Manchester, you clown.
Well, then I was wrong on that. So I
was
sitting
grew up
there.
In that.
You don't even know this guy.
So I'm sitting there when the guy sends me a message. I go, and I knew this guy had moved. So I was like, why is he asking about that when he doesn't even live around here? And then like the brain process is going, wait, I think he moved too. And then I was just like, oh, I got to text Scott this and let him know, someone's looking to get him on a team.
What the hell am I supposed to do with that information? Give him a heads up? Like, hey, man, listen. This guy Don's going to text you. Yeah. Like, you don't know him. He doesn't know you, but like, it's happening.
It was
go to this field at 8 a.m.
So when I got your message, I go, what are you I was like, dude, if something was wrong, I would have called you.
Sure, you did apologize.
Hey, man. But I will say that Dan is the king of like not giving enough context when he texts me all the time. But Yeah, hell yeah.
You got it. Or sometimes it just happens. Yeah.
I'll give you one too.
I don't think you're diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, but
Here I sit, brokenhearted, came to shit and only farted.
only yeah.
Tried to fart and shit in my pants. Now
There it
will
is.
say, though, Dan will text you and say, "Man, this is awful." I'll say, "What's awful, Dan?"
Did you hear from Mom? Question mark.
He'll say, "I can't believe this. Can't believe what?" He's like, "It just doesn't make sense." I'm like, "Please tell me what you're talking about." He goes, "Oh man, can you believe the the Red Sox let off with Durant today?" I'm like, Jesus Christ, man!
You know what? You just felt like Norm Macdonald right there. That whole
exactly.
that whole skit felt like
we got a problem. I do send that to Kevin quite a bit.
We got a problem. What? Wyndham's taking a dump everywhere. I'm going to be 15 minutes late.
I do have, and it's not appropriate for a live stream. I do have the best Norm Macdonald joke. I will say it offline. Let's say it offline. Let's say it offline.
Yeah, I guess I'll start putting in like paragraphs.
Hey,
I send a text to like start
learning.
I send it to start the conversation.
Send me a funny GIF or something. If you want to get my attention, send me something to chuckle at, and then good news, bad news.
Yeah.
Good news, funny picture. Bad news, Dan's texting me.
There you
go. I got a day of text coming. Just butter me up first.
It's the old compliment sandwich. You start with something good. Here's where
I'll tell you something.
End with something good.
In the last year, I've talked to Dan on the phone the most out of anybody else in the world.
Hell yeah!
I mean, Dan's a fan of calling. He'll just call you.
He's a caller. He's a check.
And I appreciate it. I love it. It's good stuff.
I keep it old school. I don't want
to
text.
I'm not tearing you down. Yeah.
That's the best part because I'm not that person. Like I was from the generations like, obviously when we're kids, you go where the bikes are, right? You see bikes outside, you go, okay, there's that, my friends are at that, right?
Yeah, something's going on. But playing N64 or something.
N64 having a good time. Sometimes at some point it got to the point where I was like, I'm not even gonna ring the doorbell. I'm gonna call you back. I'm outside.
When did that happen?
Out here. I don't want to ring the doorbell. I don't want to, it just changed. And now it's gotten to the point. But he's the smartest because you can't call him back. Yeah, you instantly voicemail. And it says you can't leave voicemail.
A hidden benefit of Dan calling me, I have to walk when I'm talking on the phone. Like at work, I have a cordless headset. I have to walk. I've been doing it for 15 years.
The pace, yeah.
When Dan calls me, I'm walking. I'm doing laps around my basement. I'm going from here to there to there to there. It's just like this weird thing that has to happen with me.
Yeah,
so
I've been
an extra 1,000 steps in.
I do the exact same thing, and now I'm at a point where I pay for.
Take your hat off again. You got a bowl cut going on. You got like a.
I actually don't.
You do though, but
I do.
No, yeah. If you middle part it again, you could get
I could do like a shroot.
Bernie.
No, I was gonna say you could be like a stunt double for the kids on Home Improvement.
Oh my God, Mike!
Yeah, my hair is actually
crazy. That is wild.
Hey, it's sharp
crazy
look.
long, but on a normal day.
So I mean, I just shaved it myself.
I shaved my head. I shaved my head too.
On a normal day, my hair looks great. But
I haven't looked better. I'm not gonna lie. I got a little tan from vacation.
I look phenomenal.
Sharp.
You look great.
Vastly overweight. Again, viscera, but
if you're a dad,
it hurts to get up.
You've earned 15 to 20 pounds above where you should be. And
I want to get into this segment.
Can I say one more thing, Dan, before we move on? Because it's important. I've got a ring cam now, and I pay for it.
A what?
A ring cam.
Oh yeah,
my doorbell is actually a camera. And I've gone beyond.
That's what they are, yeah.
Beyond texting, yeah, exactly. Beyond texting. Look, now when people come to my door and they ring my doorbell, I won't even go to the door. I'm like, what the fuck do you want?
I'm watching. Yeah, exactly.
How dare you? Why are you at my house? Are you on fire? No? Then text me that shit.
Are you here to service my house in some way? Because if you're not, then get the hell out of here.
If they go, they're like, hey, I'm the lawnmower guy, or I'm this guy. I'm like, dude, stop trying to.
I got a mosquito spraying company that comes by every, once a month. Dan, I just sent you another message there. Yeah, no, if I get a delivery, that's fine.
Amazon
But
sets some shit off all the
or if you're
time.
there to pick something up because my wife is giving something away on Facebook,
Oh God,
usually she'll give me the heads up.
There will be a murder from a Facebook.
I picked up so much fun stuff from Facebook. You guys on the buy nothing groups?
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
I love a good knick-knack. I feel like come on.
Hey!
Right?
Yeah.
Some lady was giving this away. I said, yeah, interested. I'll pick that up.
Sold.
Pick that up in an hour.
Sold. She didn't know. Bitch didn't know what she had.
My name was Nadine.
All right, we're gonna get into this. Hold on, I'm getting Scott's image here.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we all have a crumb bump. We got a comment.
I got a couple hundred crumb bumps if you speak. If you
or to want to soul. Oh, is that is a big thing.
I think we're gonna have to bite the bullet on a new roof next year. We'll see what happens though.
Who's there's a solar company.
It's like solar with like a tilde.
Yeah, there's one that just is never not in my neighborhood. And
but yeah. Who's up first on the crumb bum there?
All right, hold on.
Mike, you don't have the courage. You're a real crumb bum. Put that on camera. You're a creep.
You're a creep. All right, Mikey, I'll let you start. Crumb bum of the week.
The solar company that he's still researching, apparently.
Shit. Yeah. So again, I want you to tee it up because it's important to me that you set the scene.
Oh, it's all. Oh, there it is.
And the problem is, we already talked about this, but the problem is that J-Lo is collecting engagement rings like Thanos, and I'm pretty sure she's trying to destroy the world. And she had recently said something along the lines of, anyone under the age of 35, which I don't qualify for, but anyone under the age of 35 is useless. Any man under the age of 35 is useless. And I was like, says the woman divorced 97 times. Says the woman who dated and knew probably a lot of what was happening.
Spoiler alert, years ago.
Yeah.
Yowza.
Diddy wasn't used, it wasn't a new thing for him, right? Like a lot of people have
was that the green dress at the VMAs? Is that her famous green dress? Was she with Diddy at that point?
Green
yes.
dress?
Remember she had the very long like to the top of her.
It's become iconic.
Yeah.
People remember that.
No,
vagina.
She might have even known. She might have even known that Tupac was gonna get killed, and she was like,
"There's no way Jennifer Lopez did that." Tupac.
No, she didn't.
No, she wasn't even famous at that point. She was Selena in like 95.
Oh, you're saying she was Jenny from the Block at that point?
She hadn't put out an album yet. She had not put out an album.
Don't be fooled by the rocks that she's got. She's still just Jenny from the Block, and I think she's a questionable human being in a lot of ways.
Has she made Anaconda yet? Is the question.
That's what a lot of people are asking. And
she blew up in 99 is when she put out an album.
I will say though, she. Not recently, but a few years ago,
that music video at the waterfall.
I know what I'm talking about. She released a song with I think her name is Iggy Azalea. You know Iggy Azalea?
Yeah, that's a video to see.
Watch that video.
Enough is
No, thank you.
Watch the Iggy Azalea.
Watch that last year.
That movie. That video is 10 years old, but they looked real good in that.
Giggity.
Giggity.
Anyways, she sucks on ice.
All right, I got to give my crumb bum of the week here, and this is do you guys like Netflix? Do you like Peacock?
What?
Peacock.
Yeah. Are you asking me if I like either one of those better than the other?
Yes. Do you enjoy them at all?
Yeah.
I love watching things on TV.
I enjoy a nice stream.
Well, they both have a documentary now out. If you recall, about 22 years ago, there was a murder in Modesto, California.
There's been a lot of murder.
Of Lacey Peterson. Pretty tragic stuff.
I'm so sick and tired of seeing Scott Peterson.
So there's a Netflix documentary that's just kind of taught, and I haven't got to see this one yet. and it's kind of talking about Lacey Peterson's family side and everything. But on Peacock, there's a documentary where there's a group in California, the Innocent something, that is trying to state the case that Scott Peterson is innocent, and they talk to him on the phone there, and I have to say, like, I watched the documentary, and it did have me thinking there maybe be some reasonable doubt here, but overall, a lot in the case was circumstantial evidence. But Crumbum has to be this. He clearly did this crime. And trying now 22 years later to now say this might have, blame it on these I'm not buying the burglars taking her away and then throwing her into the place that he was fishing. And, they're saying, well, that could have been a frame. I just think this is Crumbum. I don't think this man is innocent. And it's another one of the things, though, but I have to say that I don't think the police did a great job, because they just kind of assumed I think he did do it, but they assumed him right away. They didn't really look at a lot of stuff. This whole thing is just a woman was murdered, and it's a tragedy to this day. And now for him to come out 22 years later and finally speak, I don't know.
I thought you were talking about the Chris Watts case at first. That's why I was so disgusted. That guy that killed his wife and his daughters. Oh God, I forgot all about the Scott Peterson guy. That guy sucks, though, huh? He definitely did it too, right?
I mean, but a lot of the evidence against, but like, there's just too many things.
Murderer.
And who the heck has a mistress and says, lies about his wife, but says his wife was dead, and then she ends up
People
I'm
are
sorry.
Evil. People are horrible, evil people, and then
there are people out there like that.
And there are people that believe that he's innocent, and there is that maybe chance that but he's not, and he's a crumb bum. And to put this out, I went into the documentary with an open mind, but there were things in there where, like, his sister-in-law, he had 10 grand in the car, right, when they thought he was trying to flee to Mexico. She says, now 10 grand in the car. She disregards this and says, "Oh, my brother had just bought a car off him. He's keeping $10,000 worth of cash in his car. He claims that he wasn't going to Mexico; he was going golfing. Like, all this stuff that I'm like, you are so full of shit." And I can't believe I just watched this, thinking like, oh, maybe they'll find something, that maybe this guy is someone innocent. And all it left me going was like, oh, he's just a giant piece of crap like we thought he was, So
we thought they were.
Didn't they have didn't Dean Cain play him in a Lifetime movie?
Yeah, they did a Lifetime thing. And it's, the whole thing's bizarre. Like, it's like, if why would you murder her to get out of that marriage? Like, you could have just got a divorce or something like that. But like, there's just too many things that just don't make sense. And I do agree, a lot of it's circumstantial and all that, but to come out 22 years later, it's like, now they're re-looking at my case. It's like, I understand you like, I don't know, Crumbum. I mean, what a dirtbag,
He's ball.
But Scott, you're
my Crumbum. I don't know. Looking back on my Crumbum picks, I don't know if I got a thing against animals or if animals got a thing against me, but we had a great vacation again, except these effing beach sand flies just sort of really put a real negative at the end of the week. We were there Saturday through Tuesday, beach, no problem. But then once it started getting hotter and less cloudy, these things just started coming out and just swarming all over you.
Yeah. Those are aggressive.
It's just ruined. I've never experienced that before.
There's nothing worse than being at a beach where it's, beautiful and everything, and you're getting bit on your legs by these weird ass flies.
That's what I'm saying. And they were aggressive too. Like,
they're all over you.
Yeah, all over us. Like at one point, like I was trying to experiment, like they attracted to the shade from like our umbrellas, so I popped those down, and then they just gravitated towards me in like the chair, and I was like, all right, do I have to lay down on the ground? And no shade, but they just kept coming at you, and ugh, it's
Those
just
are brutal. I was in
bummer, man.
it's either Eastham or Eastham, whatever you call it. But there's like you have to go down like a massive set of steps to get to the beach.
Yeah.
Oh, Eastham.
Yeah, Eastham. And if you're on the top, no flies. Second you get about halfway down, they
Feel it.
swarm on you. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
there's dozens of them.
Are you walking through dunes, like grassy sand dunes? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what they were saying. Our issue was we were too close to the dunes, but the tide was so high, it had to be like there was.
Where else are you gonna go? Brutal.
I'll make this point though. These flies.
Are you pro the flies?
No. These flies, they don't know what they're doing, right? But this scumbag knows he killed his wife.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
All right. This
This
scumbag knows he killed his wife.
I don't think I'd ever choose a murderer for my crumb bum of the week.
The flies might not be, a little more.
Do we know that the flies don't know what they're doing?
I believe the flies know what they're doing. Absolutely, they have one drive. It's to stay alive and eat food. I mean, that's what the flies are trying to do. They're trying to eat me. They're essentially trying.
Have you ever seen a fly land? When a fly lands, it takes a little front foot. They go.
Yeah.
I think they're plotting shit.
It could entirely be. It could entirely be. They're plotting to ruin my episode.
Like they're giving their shit away, and we're just like, oh, look at that little fly. He's just doing his thing. He's being like, I'm gonna get you.
Can I just say, like, I don't
want family trip.
I don't want to bring it back to my crumb bum, but I have to say, like, I went into that documentary with an open mind, an actual open mind, to just be like, wow, you didn't sell me on anything.
So are you saying that
guilty
that Peacock is pro this guy and Netflix is con this guy? Like,
well, they're two different.
I'm saying that Peacock put out a documentary saying with potentials of how he could be innocent. And honestly, there's just too many things watching that documentary that I was like, are you feeding me just absolute bullshit?
Think about that though. Is that a larger issue with streaming services, right? Like they control a lot of like the people who only watch Peacock, right? They watch it and they accept that as the truth. The same in social media, right? So they have a responsibility to not show stuff like that with the guy who's clearly a murderer. But they say we'll watch it, right? So they put it on there. That's really interesting. Like, is streaming a bigger issue than it's worth? Or they're not policing it because they just need content. So they put pro murderer documentaries out there because they need the content. That's
I gotta say, like, there's definitely a case for him possibly being innocent, but like at the same time, like too many things are just like, no, like there's no way. But I did watch another documentary. This whole like thing with like circumstantial evidence is kind of crazy. Like I watched another one last night. This guy's murdered in this house. There was no way anyone else that could get in. And these guys definitely knew who murdered this guy and they got off. It's like it happened in their house. Like there's all this evidence against them, but it's all circumstantial. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I watched the two and I just went, how does this one get a conviction and this one doesn't?
So you got to think about it this way, right? Maybe different juries, different lawyers.
Well, one was a jury, one was
jury.
They picked the judge. Well, the one that I watched last night, the judge is basically saying, like, I know these guys are guilty, but you haven't proved it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but if you're talking about different juries, different states, different lawyers, hung jury, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, right? So
family show, guys.
So it's tough.
Vacation mode, baby.
Yeah, because sometimes, right, as we've learned from maybe Law and Order, that maybe there's pressure to make a conviction, right? Yeah. So they move it forward and they push it forward and they go with circumstantial evidence because they want
something crazy with Law and Order SVU.
I will say something though to the Peterson thing. I think he's guilty, but at the same time, the media got such a hand on it that there wasn't anybody that was going to believe this guy. I think he was cooked before that. I think he's guilty, but the media played such a role into having everybody believe that. In this other case, not so much. And I don't know. It's just crazy. But yeah, you guys have any final thoughts on this beautiful Saturday night? Summer's almost over. Next weekend's Labor Day.
I can't wait. Next Saturday. It's my our annual Labor Day Saturday big fantasy football draft at Rocky LaForte's house. It's a yearly tradition. Best day of the year. So I'm looking forward to that. Had a big fantasy draft also before hopping on with you guys here.
Oh, he was home this whole time. That's
interesting. We got home later. No, we got home later this afternoon at like 4 o'clock or so. Yeah.
So who'd you get? Who are your wide receivers? I'm being told wide receiver is the position this year.
I mean, if we want to get into it real quick. So keeper league. So I'm keeping Drake London and Anthony Richardson. So my quarterback and good young receiver. Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, Drake London, Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson, Kevin Coleman, Keon Coleman, Jacoby Myers, Brandon Cooks. But I also went heavy on tight end Dalton Kincaid and Kyle Pitts. I like my team.
Kyle Pitts is a good pick. So Kyle Pitts pisses me off because I expect him to be good every year and then he's not. Can I ask when you got Kamara?
Kirk Cousins. Second round. So it's keeper league. So you gotta think about it. 12 keeper league. Everybody's keeping 2. Yeah, a bunch of people are gone. So I had Derrick Henry in the first.
Nice, nicely done there. I think Henry will do well. And where's he? Baltimore now.
Baltimore. Yeah,
I think he's gonna be great.
He's gonna get 22 touchdowns. He's gonna be 30.
So, yeah.
But yeah. So I got that. It's fantasy season, baby. Let's go.
I mean, if the Gus bus Edwards,
and you're going to have a monster.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree.
Had maybe 13 touchdowns.
And I think Alvin Kamara and Cooper Kupp are timeless. And
I
think I'm gonna smoke this effing league.
I'm gonna draft my own team for the first time since I've ever played fantasy football. Max doesn't do the draft. Statement. I usually do the auto.
You're that guy. You're just the. Yeah,
I've been kicked out of I've been kicked out of every fantasy league that I've ever been in.
You used your 90 seconds for the draft
because you don't check your lineup and you get.
I did this last year. I will say this.
People on bye weeks. Yeah, you're not a fantasy player. Then just stop playing fantasy football.
You ruin our life.
Well, I like to be part of the crowd, But now the Patriots Now the Patriots are what they are.
Trash.
I still watch every week, and I still plan to. That's my Sunday routine.
Trash.
But I play the fantasy to maybe I'll get a win. Maybe I'll win. Maybe something will come positive.
Winning a week of fantasy football. There's no better high, man. God. There's just coming out on top.
And if you don't, if I get blown out in a week, I'm okay. If I lose by between 5-10 points, I'm miserable. Ruins my week.
I may disagree there. When the Patriots were what they were, there was nothing better than winning every Sunday.
That was a different age, man. We were so just spoiled.
The other thing too is I helped my fantasy team win by drafting them. I didn't help the Patriots. I didn't help Tom Brady. I didn't make Tom Brady.
No.
So I feel a sense of pride. I will say. So I didn't do well in fantasy last year in my keeper league, but I kept Chris Olave and I kept Josh Jacobs, which means I dropped the Gus bus, which I just thought he got lucky a lot of times.
You said Gus bus a couple of times. It's not working for me. It's not.
Oh, man, okay.
I keep thinking Gus Farratt is why my first.
I think of the
Gus Farratt, and he was
I always
very much a quarterback.
So I dropped him. I dropped
Elvis Gerbach. That was another random quarterback.
There you go. Attaboy. I dropped Nick Chubb because I just figure he's hurt and he's coming back.
ACL. Yeah, he did the right thing.
That's a tough one.
Yep.
Alvin Kamara. I had Kamara last year.
Love me some Kamara.
Had to let him go too. I think about him as like a wide receiver. He's just such a dual threat. He's just always going to be. He's in on every play. Even if he's not running, he's definitely the top wide receiver.
Studley. Studley.
Yeah. So I kept Jacobs because I think he's going to do okay in Green Bay. I kept Olave because I just feel like you have to. That'll be young. New team name.
That's a lot of that's a lot of references right there. It's good stuff.
So I'm excited about the season.
Yeah, I know. I love fantasy football, and it's right around the
Mike's-
corner. And here we go.
Well,
Mike is just stuck.
Well, with that being said,
There he
everybody,
is.
good luck on their fantasy drafts.
No.
I will be heading to Canaan, Vermont for a Labor Day tournament to go to every year. Excited about that. But
There
we will be back in 2 weeks. Maybe Mike joins the show. I don't know. We're going to find out. Scott has returned. The prodigal son has returned to the show. But everybody out there, have a good Labor Day weekend. And we will see you next time on Ring and Free Thoughts.
See ya. Catch you on the flippity flip.
Jeez.